Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Featherhoof.
And I'm Cindy.
And we just got back from A Quiet Place, watching A Quiet Place. So this is a new thing for the channel where we're just back, just got back from a movie, giving our first impressions of it, and just talking about what we think of it. Sort of not an official review by any standard, but just what we thought of the movie.
Yeah, because we were talking all about it in the car, and you're like, well, heck, why don't we just talk about it to all you guys?
Right, so, let's just talk about it. First off, warning, danger, Will Robinson, danger! There will be spoilers.
Wrong show.
But there will be spoilers.
Yes.
So, if you don't like spoilers, bye-bye. Off you go.
You know, everybody wants to watch spoilers.
Of course.
No matter who you are.
But it's impossible to talk about the things we liked and didn't like about the movie without spoiling something, so...
Yeah. And your experience is going to be different if you decide to watch the movie, and I think it's worth watching because there's so many great things about the movie that are unique to this movie.
And there are also some bad things that aren't horrible, but there's some negatives. Like I said, we each have our own opinions, so let's just talk right about them.
All right.
All right, so we're going to start from the beginning of the movie. Firstly, this movie, for those who don't know, is almost entirely devoid of spoken dialogue.
There's sounds, but there is just like instrumental sounds mostly.
Yeah. And the sound effects of walking or picking a thing up. The characters speak almost entirely in ASL, and it's very unique in that aspect.
Yeah.
It's
definitely.
It's probably one of the things that makes this movie... You know, you remember the tagline for Alien? In space, no one can hear you scream. What if you can't be allowed to scream?
No, unless you'd like to die, and some people decide to die that way in the movie.
We'll get there, though.
Yeah.
So the movie starts off, family going through was it a drugstore or was it a general... It was like a CVS style.
Yeah, it was like
it had
basic store.
Yeah, it had a drug, like a pharmacy. They were there for the pharmacy part.
Yeah.
It's mother, father, 3 kids of varying ages. Apparently, what was this? It was like 70... What was it like? No, like 58 days. It says 58 days.
Yeah, some small number.
Or day 58. And it's after some catastrophe, and, you know, there's no people. No sounds, no people, nothing.
I like that aspect, though, the whole post-apocalyptic world. I love movies like that.
So, they're trying to get medicine for one of their kids who's sick with something. I couldn't read the medicine label, and even if I did, I wouldn't know what it was for anyway.
Yeah.
He was like sort of huddled on the ground going...
I don't think he was sick with anything. I think he was having a panic attack.
Or asthma attack or something?
Yeah, asthma, yeah, something.
Possibly. Well, they needed medicine for something.
Yeah. They don't go into what it was.
And meanwhile, their youngest child, they have their youngest boy who's really wants this toy rocket ship. And their eldest daughter who is deaf. You can just like really hone in on this thing that she's got on her ear, and every time the camera pans to her, where she's the main focus of the camera, sound disappears.
That's how you really figure out she's an actual deaf person.
So the child really wants this toy rocket ship. Unfortunately, he even tries to take it with him, and the dad's like, no, you know, he speaks out in ASL. I wish I knew ASL, but I don't. It spells out like too loud, can't have. Takes the batteries out, sets it aside. The eldest daughter then does a dumb because she knows her brother's sad, so she gives him back the batteryless spaceship. And here comes my problem with the movie.
I don't have an issue with it, but
I think this what they did next destroys the impact of an upcoming scene. They show the child debate for about, it feels like 7 minutes, but I think it was only like a minute and a half.
Not even a minute.
He then steals the batteries. And they walk out the store. And to show them they have to walk on like sand, like white sand.
Yeah, I'm assuming that was to keep their feet muffled.
And they're following a path back home. They're showing this, it's about a 2.5 to 3 minute walk home. And the child with the spaceship, you know, hidden under his jacket is in the back. And they get to this bridge, and all of a sudden, you hear spaceship toy noises.
They're like, oh,
And they
dead
all
child.
have this look of terror.
Dead child.
And they all look back at him. He had stopped, and he was like, what, a good 50, 70, 80 feet behind them.
Yeah, why do you let the smallest child walk all the way behind you?
And that's another thing, that's another thing the movie did that... Okay, horror movies do this. If you are a parent and you have children in a horror scenario, put them in front of you!
Watch what they're doing. Don't let them trail behind you.
Why are parents in horror situations so stupid?
Well, you know you're not going to live much longer, so stay behind me.
They all hear the noises and then they turn with this look like, no fucking way. And the child's just playing with the toy. As if, yay, toy play!
Toy, I wish to die today.
And the dad, he's been carrying the sick kid, puts him down, and just starts running as hard as he can. Because you see something start to come through the woods.
No.
And
you can't even tell what it is. That thing hit that child so fast.
Yeah, like it just smashes into that child.
I'm like, holy shit, there's sound in this movie.
And then it's like, quick jump to black, day 478. It's like, woo!
Yeah.
It's like, oh, whoa, what?
All the rest of the stuff isn't that important. Don't worry about it.
So it's implied that they've had a hard time since the child died. It's great. Well, actually, I'm skipping ahead. The thing I wanted to say, what bothers me, because this movie does it several times, showing the child picking up the batteries. They don't just show him doing it, lingers on it. For like it feels like 4 minutes, 7 minutes.
It's not that long.
They telegraph everything in this movie.
That's not a bad thing.
But it kind of is. It would have been I think that the scene would have been more impactful if they had implied that the child picked up the batteries. The sister handed him the toy and he was happy about it, and they didn't even show us a look in his face as if he looked over at the batteries, but not showing him pick up the batteries. Because the moment you see him pick up the batteries, you know what's going to happen.
Well,
you know exactly what's going to happen.
That's what adds to it, because you think in your head, oh no, is that kid seriously going to do that?
But I think that's part of the problem, because it takes away from the scare of it. The movie is more cringe than it is scare. Because it's like,
bad, that's good.
But I wanted more scare. Because it's like when you're sitting there, it's like, oh god, when's he going to do it? When's he going to do it? When's he going to do it?
Minute. There's one scene I want to tell you later, but I mean, you think of the same exact thing.
But think about it, audience. If the scene had not shown him pick up the batteries, and then that scene happened where he starts playing with the toy with the noises, that would have been, you would have felt the terror that the parents felt when they turned around and just saw him playing with his toy. It's like, oh my god, that would have been so much more impactful.
It's just the way they directed the movie.
Yes, I think, and they do it several times in the movie where instead of you being scared, you're cringing, going, oh no, when's the
you know it's gonna happen too.
You
even think it's gonna happen multiple times.
Yes. So now we're 470 days in the future now. And it's now day 470 something.
Yeah.
And they've moved on, and now the wife is pregnant!
Oh, why not? It's not like you got entertainment in this world.
But this is a world of monsters, and they know it's a world of monsters that hunts exclusively by sound. Babies aren't quiet!
No, but apparently you can drug them.
Yes. They show that they go through painstaking, scene after scene showing how they've prepared for this scenario.
Yeah, a very smart way, too.
Yes, incredibly smart. It's just, child labor I don't think is a quiet thing, because that's pain!
Unless you, duct tape the woman.
I'm not even. So, they'd go through, the next 20 minutes are them showing the painstaking things that go through every day in their life to live in this world with these creatures.
Yeah.
They show the dad constantly trying to make a thing so his daughter can hear, because she can't hear any of the danger because she's deaf. The daughter constantly living with the guilt of feeling it was her fault for killing her brother because she gave him the toy. The son, who's now recovered from whatever illness he had, but he has crazy PTSD because he's afraid of everything. Mm-hmm. And the mother and the father, getting ready for this new child.
Yeah.
And it's a really good like for the next, like I said, 20 minutes to 40 minutes, it's just really good. Them living their lives. Accidents happen where sounds are made, and then it's like, oh shit.
Oh shit.
You know,
I still like that raccoon scene. Like, oh, dead raccoon squash.
the scene you saw in the trailers, if you saw the trailers, where they're all like, the kid knocks over the lamp, and they're all like, it's raccoons. Just to spoil it for you.
Freaking raccoons. And guess what? Squash the raccoon.
Yeah, these are like the loudest raccoons I've ever heard. I've seen raccoons in real life. They're usually pretty quiet.
These raccoons wanted to die.
Yeah, apparently, because they go off into the night, chittering away as loud as they possibly can before giant monster hand
smacks down and does squash bones and blood at all.
It does it. You ever
There's
seen?
nothing left of that thing.
You ever squashed a mosquito?
That's what it looks like.
After it's just fed? That's what it looked like, only on a larger scale.
Yeah.
So basically, it's scary, it's suspenseful for a while, and then, of course, tragedy has to happen.
Oh yeah, you'd think all this preparing and planning for this birth did not happen well.
So, at some point, the father takes the son on a you need to learn how to do this stuff excursion to get fish and stuff like that.
Yep.
And he teaches him about how, hear these loud noises, the muffled lower noises, and how to survive in a world with creatures that hunt by sound. And the daughter who wanted to go didn't get to go, so she feels that her father it's weird. She's a teenager, she has teenager thoughts. My dad blames me and doesn't, for the death of my brother and doesn't love me anymore, so I'm running away. But she was supposed to stay there to take care of her mother in case she went into labor, which, oops! Guess what happens?
Listen, when they tell them to do something, they do the opposite.
And on that exact day, she decides to run away to take. Oh, it was actually pretty sad. She takes the toy spaceship, cuts the line just to the sound of it, turns it on so just the lights will blink, and just sets it at his grave and just lays there next to it.
Which is a cross right on top of a bridge.
Yeah. So the mother just happens to, that day just happens to go into labor.
Yeah, might as well.
Why not?
It's a scary horror flick or whatever. Might as well.
It's a horror movie, so, why not, have it at the most inopportune time?
Exactly.
So she's down there doing laundry, and again, with this movie loves to telegraph. God, it loves to telegraph.
I have no problem with that.
I did, because again, it makes it more cringe and less scare. So she's doing laundry, she comes up the stairs, and the laundry bag gets stuck on a nail, and she yanks it up, which yanks the nail straight up in the stairs. And then the camera just holds on that nail for about a minute. It's like
somebody gonna step on that damn nail. If I was yanking at something, I would have thought, what did I catch it on? I would have wanted to check it out because I wouldn't have wanted to do it again, especially in a world like this.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have checked that out?
But she didn't. She just continued doing laundry until at one point she just is like, oops, I'm in labor now. My water just broke.
Yeah. Upstairs at the most convenient place.
Well, it's like, strangely enough, too, it's as she's like in her youngest child's room, like cuddling his stuffed animals and crying. And she like stands up and then sort of goes into labor.
Yeah.
So I don't know why she goes all the way back down to the basement for some reason. And she's holding a picture of her child, the dead one.
Oh, I can tell you why. Because she needed to flip on the switch, the red lights, to warn everybody.
That's right, to say, hey,
I'm in labor.
Or basically there's the thing, get home.
Yeah, everything has to be like without sound, so they got these red lights.
Yep.
They are white lights, but white lights they run all the time. Red lights are for danger.
Yeah. So she runs down there to knock them, but on her way down, oh my god, I've never she just steps full body weight. I knew
it was coming. I wasn't gonna look. I knew what was gonna happen.
Full body weight on the nail.
No. I have done that before.
And she lets out the briefest of yells and drops the framed photograph of her dead kid. And she just gets her foot out and it zooms right in on her foot off of it. Oh my god. And it's like, by the time she goes down and she flips the light, she goes to go back upstairs, she sees the tail end of the monster go by. Yeah. She's in the house, it's in the house with her, and it's the scariest scene in the movie.
Things about these monsters are always hunting these people, and they're always hiding, and they're so quiet. It's like something from like one of my nightmares.
It is. It does. That's the thing. It feels just like a nightmare.
Yeah.
You ever had nightmares with a monster? You're always hiding from the monster, but no matter what you do, it fucking finds you.
Every freaking time.
It's like it always happens to know where she is because it's following the fucking sounds.
Yeah.
And bitch is a trooper.
Yeah.
She's having labor pains and the fact that she just stabbed her nail. And she's holding in those screams, those pains. It's like, this bitch is serious.
You know, that wasn't even a small nail. That nail was like that.
Oh, it was.
It could have went right through her foot.
It actually showed it. It almost penetrated through the top of when you saw it.
I didn't look. I knew what was coming.
You saw, like, it didn't puncture the top of the skin, but you saw it pushing up her skin. It was just like, ugh. So we finally get to see a full, like, vision of the monster. And it, to me, I know you've never seen this movie, but for those who have, it looked like the Cloverfield monster, but if the Cloverfield monster had the clicker's head from The Last of Us, with like little flaps that went up to catch the sound, and it like opened up the side of its face for this like mega ear.
Megaphone.
Yeah.
You know what it kind of feels like? This movie in general feels like I Am Legend, sort of.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, not in the zombie sense, no, but just in the sense of it being a post-apocalyptic. They're not you cannot really make any sounds per se.
So the husband and the son run home. The daughter's running home from hanging out at the grave. And they have this, like, again, they have contingency plans on contingency plans. He tells the kid to go set off rockets, like the plan rocket. And he sets off fireworks so that the mother can go through, so that she, like, go through her labor, with screams and everything else that you would go through.
Because sounds cancel out sounds.
So the husband goes inside and he helps his wife into the special bunker that they made. Barely. But she's already given birth, but the child is crying as a newborn does. And they have this totally muffled underground,
it's like a cellar.
Nursery. It's basically the nursery a muffled nursery that they made. And it seems to work. It seems to work. They drug the child with like a face mask of something.
They had that tank and they just put it on his face, and I'm like, okay, that works.
Yeah. So they drug the baby quiet. And meanwhile, the boy is still outside. He's walking home. And again, because he's terrified and jumps at everything, he hears the creatures and goes bolting. And it's like...
right through the cornfield.
Yeah, right through the cornfield. It's like, you dumb
shit. Things make noise.
And he knocks his own ass out by running in, full out into the wheel of a tractor.
Yeah.
So then it's like cut to daughter. And this is, again, third time in the movie. They need to linger on something so that you, the audience, because apparently they think the audience is retarded, because it's like they have to spell these things out for you.
Maybe the audience is people like me.
No.
That just doesn't normally watch horror flicks.
So the monster comes out of the field as the daughter sees like a downed flashlight. She's like, what is that?
Yeah.
Huh. And the monster comes out from behind her and starts doing his little, listening thing.
Yeah.
And apparently whenever they're around, it fucks with electronics. So she has, the earpiece thing that I mentioned at the beginning, and it starts to go haywire, making this high-pitched, like dog whistle sound, and it's hurting her ear, but of course she doesn't see behind her the monster because she's deaf. She didn't hear it come up on her. The monster's going, oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, fuck!
Well, they were, what do you call it, father was working on the frequency, and he had turned up the frequency on this one particular piece much higher than all the rest of the ones he gave.
Because he's trying to help her hear.
But apparently this frequency does something.
Yeah, because those monsters are just freaking out and then run away.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna do a little bit of jump scare because this video is going on longer than we planned, but it happens again. The kids are waiting for their dad to find them. It's the next day, and they're waiting on top of a silo. He falls in the silo. Daughter falls in to save him. Then it's like they save each other, like go back and forth like 3 times.
Smart kids.
And the noise obviously attracts the monsters.
Well, yeah.
And the monster gets right in there with them. They try to hide under the door, like in the corn underneath the door that followed in with them.
Which is smart if you think about it. They didn't panic.
And again, shows us, the audience, see what's hurting the monster? See? Because her thing goes off again, and the monster's like, oh, Jesus Christ, and runs away. So the dad comes in, helps them, and this is the part, and it's like, at first I was pissed at it, I'm like, well, at first I was pissed at the scene because she starts, the thing goes off in her ear again, and she turns it off.
Well, it's because it's bothering
it
her.
Is.
She doesn't realize it. I mean,
first,
also the audience sees it. So.
And that's part of the reason why I got so mad at the telegraphing, because at some point I forgot that she never saw the monster react to it. First time it was behind her, and because she's deaf, she didn't notice. Second time she was that she was, they were struggling for their life underneath the door, so she couldn't see it reacting to it.
Yeah.
But we could, and it ruined my perception of the movie. It yanked me out of it. So she turns it off, and the monster is attacking them, and they're trapped inside a truck. And the dad sacrifices himself. He drops, what was it, a pick, like an axe?
It was like the handle of an axe.
And it's actually beautiful. He signals to try to tell her, I love you, I never blamed you. Yeah, I've always loved you. Just as the monster goes at him.
Yeah.
Oh.
No mercy there.
Because he then lets out this scream to get all their attentions.
Yeah.
And it's...
But the reason why that happened is something we haven't stated.
We did, I skipped it.
There was another scene where a guy was in the woods with his home and his wife was dead, and he screamed just to kill himself.
Yeah, he wanted to commit suicide because his wife was gone.
So you see that first, and you're like, oh yeah.
My apologies, I totally skipped that, my bad. So it gave him the idea, and he used it to save his kids.
But I think everybody knew at that point, at that number of days, everybody knew.
Yeah. So the kids get back in the house with the mom, and then the baby starts to cry.
Of course, it's a baby.
And they're stuck in the basement, and they're just like, they're doing their best to... Was it the baby crying that pulled the monster there, or was it because it followed the truck?
No, he followed the truck, but also there was, I think, water down there in the basement.
That's right,
the water makes noise.
Yeah, they were following... No, I think we're getting our scenes mixed up.
It's possible.
That was early.
That was earlier?
Yeah. Oh, that was... Man, we skipped all kinds of stuff. But okay. It's okay, yeah. You still have stuff to see. We just said there's stuff we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
But then the end happens. This is the climax. The monster has... The son is holding the baby behind a water heater. The daughter sees all her dad's stuff in the basement. Yeah. How he was working so hard.
She's never been down in that basement. She sees everything that he's been working on.
Yeah, trying to help them with his little radio, trying to tap out SOS and everything else. And the mom picks up the gun, pointing at the monster, but of course she fires that gun. It says right on the whiteboard. Every monster
in the whole freaking world's gonna come to that freaking house.
Yeah, it says on the whiteboard, it's like, number of known monsters, 3. It's like, yeah, sure, you shoot them 1, 3 more, 2 more, at least 2 more are gonna come.
More than that.
And the girl, I don't know what possessed her to turn on
I can tell you what it was.
Her thing?
She looked at that marker board and she was reading it. And remember, she can't hear anything.
Yeah.
And it said down, I think, a very last thing, figure out what its weaknesses are. And then she put 2 and 2 together, realized that what she saw was an actual weakness.
Well, she never saw it.
Well, she saw a response because she wasn't killed in those attempts by that monster. That monster would have killed her.
Right.
Something stopped it.
Right. Maybe she is that smart. Maybe she's like
they have to be that smart.
Maybe she's one of the super children from fucking Lost in Space, where she's like super intelligent. I don't know.
Well, the whole way this movie goes that focuses on those things, so you know what you're looking at. That focused on that part in the marker board. So now she's focused in on it, and she turns on her thing. She starts cringing in the pain, and the monster's cringing in pain too. Yeah. And then it's like she looks over at the radio microphone. And she just slams her earpiece up against it. Yeah. And it just amplifies the sound, and the thing, like, it's almost like it's ripping its own ears off. Yeah, it don't hurt it like it kills it, but it definitely stuns it. Enough that all its little armor plating all over its face falls off. Yeah. And when it gets up again, the mother just
blasts it in the face.
Yeah.
And of course, you see the other two come running.
Yep.
And then it's this great moment where it's just sort of like the mother and the daughter look at each other. The mother cocks the gun. The girl
turns up the amp.
It turns up the amp and gets ready to press the button.
They're like,
and then
bring it.
Yeah, just look forward at the audience, at us, and just as if to say, bring it.
Yeah, and that's it.
And it cuts to black right there.
Yeah.
So that was the movie in a nutshell. We gave a very rushed explanation.
Gave a lot. Anybody who watches this will probably be ruined for the movie, but it's still a good movie to watch.
I don't think so. But then again, I have a different opinion of spoilers than most people, because I don't mind spoilers. People tell me spoilers, and I'm just like, ooh, I gotta go see that. I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, just someone's explanation of it is not the same as actually watching it.
Yeah. But still, we both, I think I can speak for you when I say we both loved this movie.
Yeah, it was definitely a good movie. It could have been better in certain ways.
Yes.
I get where you're coming, but at the same time, for somebody who doesn't naturally watch horror, suspense, stuff like that, it was good for somebody like me, I think.
Perhaps it could have, I guess you could say it works as someone's first horror movie.
Yeah, I guess.
Because it's like, again, I think there's only like one jump scare in the whole movie, and that was the raccoon bit.
I swear the nail freaked me out more than anything, is I knew they were gonna step on it. But that's not scare.
But that wasn't scare. That's my problem, is this movie wasn't scare, it was cringe. The entire time you're going, oh no, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen?
I kept thinking they were gonna do it multiple times. Like, okay, which child's gonna step on the nail next?
And that was another part. They never did anything about the nail. They left it.
I mean, my goodness, to lay a board on it or something, squish it down.
And actually, that was one of the things I said during the movie, is that I whispered to Cindy, I was like, wait, am I the only one who wants to see the monster step on the nail?
Why is the monster stepping on the nail?
So, like I said, that's what we loved about it. That's the movie in a nutshell. What we liked, what we didn't like. Yeah. If I were to give it anything like out of 10, I'd probably give it a 9, maybe 8.5. 8.5 to 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I just think telegraphing all those scenes, treating your audience like an idiot, like they wouldn't have been able to put 2 and 2 together themselves. They had to put 2 and 2 together for you.
Yeah.
And that's what ruins it for me.
I can see it as a good movie just by itself without picking it apart, but when you say that way, I can understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. But regardless, it's a fantastic movie. I think you guys should see it. And if you do, you're going to have a good time. It definitely is if you're into those kind of movies. So, guys, we've gone on for a very long time. This, like I said, we didn't, rehearse anything. We didn't plan anything out, so it turned out longer than I think I initially thought it was going to be. So...
Oh, well.
Maybe we're thinking of doing this more when we have other movies to watch. So, look forward to this again in the future. We may have things a little better structured next time. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, share it, or you can click on the annotations for other videos we've done. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all next time.